Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to call the special school board meeting to order for a public hearing. Today is Tuesday, February 23rd. Attorney Johnson.
Good afternoon, good evening. I'm Diana Johnson, the staff attorney for the Alachua County School District. Tonight we have publicly noticed a public hearing as well as a special school board meeting tonight. Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry. I did not ask for adoption, a motion for the adoption of the agenda. I do apologize.
Second.
It has been properly moved and second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am, no problem. This meeting tonight has been publicly noticed. There are opportunities in which the public could participate, including via Zoom, by using our email account, or by contacting myself directly. It has been properly noticed for the public meeting tonight, which is a requirement for the rulemaking procedure that we follow. So on the agenda, you only have one really thing, which is the discussion and the public hearing, allowing the public to provide input to you and then obtaining from you any further comment or edits to the proposed policy, which is 5120. It's titled District School Zones. You've had a lot of discussion about this particular policy as you've gone through the elementary school rezoning process. But one of the directions that we got was to bring it back to you. So it was brought back to you for initial first reading. At that time, what was presented, you provided basically two edits that you directed our office to do, and one of them was to add in an additional bullet point, which was for the utilization of existing school physical facilities. And then also you provided leeway for the superintendent to modify the definition of equity. We had initially listed the definition based upon the equity plan, but a definition was acquired from an urban planning manual, and that's the one that's inserted in the version before you. So if I see if I could, I'm actually going to pull it up on the screen just so you have a larger version in front of you. So this is the policy. I did utilize a strike through and underline process. It was just easier to strike through the entire policy and then to rewrite it. Once I started piecemealing it, it's very difficult to see. So the first part has been struck through, and then starting in the blue would be the new part that would be added. The black part, which starts with the grade level capacity, that part is actually the same as the previous policy. The school capacity is the same, and this last paragraph in this new development is in the existing policy. So the really new pieces that you're looking at before you is everything that's in the blue. That's for your consideration tonight. Again, if you have any recommendations to them, I will take it. If there's consent of the board, approval of the board, I'll make the modification and then present it back to you for the second reading, which would be in mid-March. So, Madam Chair, I'll just leave it open from there, and I can take notes from any public comment received and then hear from the board as you like.
All right. We'll look over to Mr. Coles.
Provide instructions for participating virtually in the public hearing through Zoom. This special meeting of the school board is being streamed live on YouTube for public viewing and will be made available on the district's website. Special meeting is also being streamed through Zoom as an alternative method to provide comments during the public hearing portion of today's meeting. Until such time as they are called on to speak, all participants are muted. During the public hearing section of today's meeting, a person using Zoom by phone can push *9 on their phone to virtually raise their hand. If participating online, they can click the raise hand option on their page to let us know that they wish to speak. When it's time for their public input, I will either read the person's name or the last four numbers of the phone number and indicate that that person may now speak. To unmute your line, either click the button on your computer or press the *6 on your phone. Everyone will have 3 minutes to speak, and after those 3 minutes, an alarm will sound letting them know that their time is up. That concludes my instructions. have any participants virtually, though we may have public input here in the boardroom.
Thank you, Mr. Coles. And I do not have any citizen forum, so at this point, I will ask the board for Dr. Paulson.
All right, just a couple of things. I mean, first is, and I know the company we used to use, I don't know if we still use it, but it says, besides looking at Broward County, Tampa, another county, each one of those counties are bigger than states in the United States. We're going to use our expert, our district consultant. Who's our district consultant? Is that them?
Our district consultant, it's a company that's used by other districts in the state. The name of it is Neola. We've
Yeah,
had a
so that's
partnership
what
with
we
them
have.
for a long time. Yes, sir.
Second one, and I noticed that you have seven things for changes made after consideration. The first six is just, you rearrange the order because there's no order now, right?
Yes, sir. So the way that it's been structured is that they're all bullet points. They're not in any particular order, and they're not given any more weight than another.
But the
They're
other
all
one-
just all
But
factors.
originally, that's one, two, when the six were originally, it was 1 through 6 by weight. Which one was most important?
That's correct. So
Now-
that's the change.
What I see is the utilization of existing school facilities and convenience of access to schools. I see that could be a conflict in the future. At least I think it will. I think that's something we're gonna have to look at. We can't be sending everybody to schools where people are not at. And I'm just going on record and saying that now. You know, we have 2 schools with 400 students right now in East Gainesville, close together. And we need to look at that. I've said this before. Remember we met at the over the Life South, I think it was. Which one's on 13th? The blood, donor, huh? It's Life South. Yeah, I said we need to look at where the population's growing in this county. We need to get a study. I think that's essential. I mean, no matter who's here and who's on the board, we need to look at that, because if we're going to utilization of existing school facilities, we got to look at the cost of what's going on, and if we also, with the convenience of access to schools, you know, we need to say, how are we going to, can we do that? Or, you know, how are we going to do it if we're going to do it? We have to, I think both of them are equally important. But I just think we, you know how I feel at this district. I think we overbuilt. We didn't build our schools big enough, and we're spending a lot of money. And then we've been doing that for a number of years. When I was president of ACA, I remember we kept Prairie View open for 4 years. Couldn't do it, because when we lost Micanopy and they had a charter school, that's what killed Prairie View. And we tried to make it an academy. It didn't work. We kept Rawlings open because I thought when I was representing the ACA, I thought that we tried to do it in a week's time. I don't think you could do that. So, I mean, I just want to go on record. I think we really need to look at this. And if we're going to put equal weight on every one of these, we need to have equal weight on every one of these. And that means convenience of access to schools and utilization, if you're going to have utilization of existing school facilities. So, yeah. I just want to, I guess you can see that, you know, if we have any disagreements, I'm just telling you how I feel now. And I just think the more we are cognizant of how we spend our money, we can educate our kids better if we can afford it. We didn't have the 1 mil. You know, I looked at this the other day, and I think, I called Mr. Rella, I think, the first year, we went from $201 million in the general fund to 165. I don't know if you're all aware of that. Luckily, that same year, we had passed the 1 mil, along with the stimulus program that Obama had, which I don't know why they don't make a bigger deal about that. I'm sorry, that's politics. Because it saved us too. And also, at the end, I just think we need to be cognizant of that. I think we need to look at where we stand compared to 12 years ago, you know? We look at the amount of money we have. So, that's, that's how I'm looking at it. I'm not saying I'm trying to know we're not doing it right now, but I think in the future, we need to, all these things need to be taken into consideration. So that's it for me, okay? Thank
Dr.
you.
Paulson, if I may, if it's okay with the chairman, I did want to just state to you that they don't have to be considered equally. They're just all things for you to consider. So it doesn't say that each one of these has to be weighted equally.
No, I'm telling you how I feel.
Oh, sure. Yes, sir. Just wanted to clarify for the
I'm saying
public.
I think they should be.
Very good. Thank you. Just want to make sure.
Thank you, Dr. Paulson.
Thank you.
I'm not sure who,
Ms. Bain, I think.
all right, did you press? No. Not, okay, Mr. Hyatt.
Well, thank you, Madam Chair, and I was going to say maybe a little bit what Ms. Johnson said. It was, the way I read this is changes may be justified after consideration. And when you say consideration, there may be, I think that's a pretty blank slate. We could be in a situation where each of these would. I think it's probably a good way. And for the individual situation, do the best we can on them. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Hyatt. Okay, you good? All right, Superintendent, do you have anything that you need to say? If not, I'm gonna go back. All right, thank you. Attorney Johnson?
There was some discussion about, after we had the first reading, there was some discussion about the definition of equity, if you wanted to include it or not. That is a definition that the public hadn't seen before because it was added in after the first reading. Just as I stated before, the first reading had the definition from our equity plan. The version before you has the definition from an urban planning plan. And then there's been some discussion about whether it's needed at all. So, however you all want to proceed is definitely fine with staff. I just wanted to make note of that definition's existence.
Madam Chair.
Go ahead, Mr. Hyatt.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I wanted to say that I appreciate the definition being included. I think it's a really, it's important to have it in there. It's, I think, a very clear and concise definition. So I certainly am 100% in favor of that.
In fact, Attorney Johnson, all of the definitions that you have under after equity, financial and administrative efficiency, grade level capacity, all of those I feel are needed.
Okay, thank you for the feedback.
Was there